Okay, well, welcome, welcome. We're so glad that you could be with us tonight. My name is Tricia Albrechtsen. My husband Eric and I live in Arizona. Although lately we've been spending a lot of time on the road with some of you and getting to know a lot of our team and a lot of the people that we get to be a part of. And that's our favorite part of this business, is the people that we get to meet. We've been in this industry for, gosh, 28 years, and it has been so amazing for us. I married into it actually and fell in love immediately with the lifestyles and the time freedom that the people had earned by putting in a little bit of effort and then creating a residual income. And the friendships that they had were just priceless. These other people who had time and resources to be able to go and spend time with them, going around the world and doing amazing things. And more important than that, I fell in love with the way that their kids were raised. I fell in love with the positive attitude and the dreaming and the visionary that they were teaching these children to be able to believe in a future that they could create. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a way to raise my kids around positive people. And we've been able to find that in this industry. My children are almost raised now. We have 3 out of the house and one that is 16. And they are very, very positive, very entrepreneurial, very visionary, very outgoing, and very giving. They love to serve and they love to give to others. And I know that they learned that through this industry. So some of you think you're here tonight to hear about a product. Some of you may be here because you are looking for a way to make extra income on the side. We're going to show you a side hustle that pays like a CEO income. So stick around for that. But some of you are just here because you're a good friend. Some of you just got on because somebody invited you and you thought enough of the person to say yes. So for that, we thank you. Hopefully you'll learn something from me tonight that will make this worth your time, and maybe a whole lot of things that will make it worth your time. So to get on with it, we have looked at so many companies over the years. We've been successful with several. We've made 7 figures. We've been homeless. We've seen the whole gamut. This industry didn't make us homeless. Life made us homeless. The ups and downs of the economy, back in 2007, 2008, we found ourselves very upside down. And I'm sure there are others on this phone call that have been through the same thing, but we had some friends that were kind enough to take us in, but it's allowed me to see both ends of the scale. And I have to tell you, having money is a lot more fun than not having money. So now that that's out of the way, we've been able to look at a lot of companies along the way. We've been able to learn a lot about this industry. And once we dialed it in, once we figured it out, it's just like everything else. Once you learn how to do it, it becomes more simple, it becomes more doable, and getting to the top is very reachable. And we've been to the top of every company that we've been in since we found out how to do this industry. Unfortunately, the last 2 times that we've been to the top, both times when we got there and the rug was pulled back a little bit, or the curtain was pulled back a little bit, the things that we saw on the other side were not things that we could wrap our head around. The integrity just wasn't what we wanted, and we watched things just deteriorate and fall apart. So needless to say, when we went looking again, we looked long and hard, and it took us 3 years to find Activz. It took us 3 years of looking at different companies and different compensation plans and different product collections to be able to decide where we wanted to put our future. So I'm going to show you why we picked this company. So we based it on some very specific criteria. The first one was the company itself. We wanted a company that didn't have black marks to its name, didn't have a whole history of lawsuits and problems. We wanted something that was based on integrity. We wanted people running that company that were based on integrity, that cared about the people that they were working with, that had the vision to be able to take it to be $1 billion company and had the experience to do so, that had the finances to be able to do so. Most companies, when they start, don't have one of those things and they fall apart very quickly. And so we were looking very carefully for a company that would be around potentially 70 or 80 years from now. We wanted something where we could plant our roots one time based on integrity. And when we got to the top, it would still be based on integrity, and we could live out the rest of our life with the company. So we looked really long and hard, found Activz, realized that we knew David Brown. We knew David. We've known him for about 12 years. We've actually made 7 figures under his watch. We know his experience and his track record, and most of all, we know his heart. We know that he loves the people that he works with and that he will do anything for his distributors. And some of you on this Zoom tonight have met him because he's been willing to go the distance and come to your living rooms and actually talk with you face to face. He's that kind of a CEO. He's very transparent, he's very reachable, and he's very available when we need him. So that's one of the reasons that we're here is David Brown. Ryan Thompson, the president of the company, we've known for 17 years. And Ryan and our family, we go way back. We've watched a lot of his kids grow up, and we've hiked waterfalls together. We've traversed business opportunities and things with him. We know that he will go the distance, and we know that he stands for the right thing, and he'll walk away from money if he has to be able to hold on to his integrity, just as we've done. So we respect him, and we would go the distance with him. And that's another reason that we're here. So we feel like this company will be around 60, 70 years from now. We're very excited to have found it. The second thing that we looked at each of these companies is the timing. If you've ever been in traditional business, which we have, we've been employed, we've been self-employed, we've also done some investing. We've kind of tried all the different quadrants. We like this one the best because it's really based on how many people you can help. And we love that part of it. But timing within this kind of an industry is just as important as location is for a traditional business. So if you're opening up a brick and mortar, you want to be on the corner of Center and Main. You want to be right where all the foot traffic is and where people are going to stumble into your business. Well, in this kind of a business, it's all word of mouth. So if you're the last one to hear, it's a little harder. That might mean that you have to go build in India or you have to go build in Chile, which isn't bad at all, but it's a lot easier to build with people that you've kind of had some association with in the past. So being early in something is really an advantage. And so we looked at companies that were just out of the gate, and we found that Activz has incredible timing. So Activz, that's my zero. That's my beginning point. Fancy today. When companies start, they go through a period called pioneering. And that's when all of the bumps are worked out. That's when all the things are figured out with shipping and production of products and how checks are going to be paid and all the details of running a business. And if you've ever run a business, there's a lot of them. I'm so glad that they're doing it and that I don't have to anymore. But if you reach a point, it's kind of a magical point. They call it critical mass. And critical mass is about $4.2 million a month, established for a long enough time that it's 50 million a year. And that becomes a point at which there's enough products, good or service out in the marketplace that people become aware of it. It becomes branded. People go looking for it. And what that does is it changes the trajectory of a company from horizontal to vertical. See if we can darken that up for you a little bit. There we go. So we're looking for that vertical growth. If you can get involved one time in a company and go through that period of time and then be smart with your money, you can literally be done for the rest of your life. But how do you position yourselves in front of that? Some of you have been in companies that have fallen apart, just as we have. There are some very specific things. There's specific factors that you have to look for. And so that's what I'm going to show you is what you're looking for in a company to make sure that it can go the distance. Because if you can do that, if you can get in one time, Harvard Business School says whatever you're making when you reach this point, or at this point, when you reach this point, which goes into stabilization, if you can ride through that period of time, you can always at least add at least 1 0, maybe more, maybe 100, maybe 1,000. But our goal is to always help as many people as we can. Let's say it's just 10. Let's go conservatively here and just go 10. If it's just 10 and we can help people make $1,000, what are they making at the stabilization period? They're making $10,000 a month. That's exciting. What if we can help them make $10,000? Now at the end of the stabilization, or when stabilization starts, they're making $100,000 a month. That's what timing does for you in a business like this. Can you make $10,000 a month without timing? Absolutely. The system I'm going to show you and the products I'm going to show you, I fully believe that if people launch their business right, people 20, 30, 40 years from now will be able to make $10,000 a month. But the going from 10 to 100 comes with timing. So timing is supposed to be the first 125,000 people make up the foundation, make up the ground floor of a company. My question to you is, how big of a net will you throw? How many of the people that you care about will you put in front of this freight train, this tsunami wave that's coming? How many people will you tell about what I'm about to share with you, that they can be a part of this, so that they can make a little bit of money and 10x it or 100x it and get that residual income coming in month after month after month. So the timing in this company is incredible. I kind of got ahead of myself as I'm erasing here. I'm going to draw it back for you and show you where we sit. I forgot to show you the most important part. So our company launched in 2017. We're about halfway there at 2 million. Doesn't sound real exciting, right? But here's the kicker. This is in Mexico. So if you're seeing this tonight, you're probably in the United States somewhere. I know there's people from both coasts, but you're probably seeing this from the US. Might have a few people from outside, I can't tell. But Mexico got the head start. They're doing $2 million a month. They're halfway to that mark. The US is doing about 100K, about $100,000 a month. So the word hasn't gotten out. There are entire states that don't know anything about this. Just in the last couple of months, it's starting to kick up momentum, and word is getting from state to state to state. Every day, it seems like there's a new state that comes across my attention, and people will say, is there anyone in this state? And I say, well, there is now. There might be one, or there might be 3, there might be 12. And I think in our biggest gathering, in our biggest state, I think we had 30 people in a room. That's how new we are. That's how new we are. There's less than 100 people that have really, really grasped this and are running like everything depends on it. There's maybe 300 or so people that are building it as a business. Some more lackadaisically than others, but the word is not out yet. So you're literally hearing about this when people don't even know the word Activz. You can walk down the street and ask 10 people, and probably all 10 of them have never heard it. You could probably ask 1,000 people, and all 1,000 people would tell you, no, they haven't heard of Activz. So that's the incredible timing that we have. We sit right here, and we still get to set up for what is coming. So both of those checked off big when we were looking at this company. The third thing that we looked at was the products. We get into a business like this to make money, to run it as a business. This is our livelihood. We've helped hundreds of people make between $10,000 and $150,000 a month. And we love that part. We love being able to give people options and choices on whether they want to trade hours for dollars anymore. So that's why we look at these companies. But we understand that the products that come from these companies are incredible. So if you're in a company now, I mean, there might be a couple of you on here that are in another company. If you are and you love the products, take the products. But come here and build a business, and you'll love the products too. So the products are the foundation behind everything. When the timing is long gone, you have to have solid products or the company will fall apart. And that's why we look for the solid products. We wanted things that were consumable, that were proprietary to the company, that were unique, that you couldn't find them at every other corner drugstore or, on any shelf. We didn't want it in every store. We wanted to be able to really direct people to this company and be able to have them hear about it first from Activz, not be able to order them other places. However, this company has a workaround for that too, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. I want to tell you first about our trifecta. The trifecta of products at this company are amazing. If you've ever watched anything that has a trifecta of things, they're usually the 3 best. I believe these are 3 of the best products I've ever seen in this industry. And like I said, we've looked at over 100 companies. The reason I can say that is because the science is so validated and so real, and I get to hear the stories every day of what these products are doing for people. The first one I want to talk to you about is genomics. Genomics is a product that comes from a doctor named Dr. Joe McCord. And we've had experience with Dr. McCord in the past. We've actually worked with him, with David Brown. That's where we made our first millions. Well, some of our millions. And I hate to keep going back to that, but I want to impress on you that this is not just an Uber side hustle. This is not just a DoorDash. This is something that you can literally work in that kind of time frame in your off hours, but you can literally create 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever it is that you're looking to make. We can show you how to do that. So genomics is a product that comes from a long history. Dr. McCord studied in medical school and was studying the human cell and found that in every cell, there are free radicals that are literally bouncing around inside the cell, causing damage to the cell. The more free radicals, the more oxidative stress, and the more oxidative stress, the higher the disease rate. He also discovered an enzyme called SOD, or superoxide dismutase. And because he discovered that enzyme, they actually measure it in McCord units. So we've seen a lot of companies that have doctors that stand on their board, but most of them are paid to be there. This doctor literally is world renowned. He's been nominated for the Nobel Prize up to 4 times. He's received the Elliott Crescent Medal, which is only given to people who literally change something for all of humanity. They discover or invent or create something that literally changes the world. So Dr. McCord discovered this enzyme, and this enzyme gobbles up 1 million free radicals every second. Well, that's incredible, and it's 1 million times stronger than the superfoods that you can eat in the grocery store. I'm not here to tell you not to eat them. Berries and superfoods are amazing for our health. They're way better than the other things with chemicals and preservatives, but they're not strong enough to address the oxidative stress in our bodies. 1 molecule of superfood takes out 1 free radical. Doesn't really do a whole lot. It's kind of like water fights fire. That if you go to a house fire and you take a thimble full of water and you throw it on the fire, it's not going to do any good. Water puts out fire, but not at that pace. Oxidative stress cannot be put out by superfoods. 1-to-1 just doesn't do enough. You need to turn back on this SOD enzyme to get that 1 million per second eating up the free radicals. But what he discovered is that our bodies create it naturally from the time that we're 0 to about 20. And then when we turn 20, it's like a dimmer switch goes off. And all of a sudden things are shutting down and getting out of balance and things start to go awry. Have you ever noticed that up till about the age of 20, kids don't think about their health? They kind of feel like they're Superman, they're indestructible, and they can jump off buildings, and they can, ride their bikes down crazy things, and they can try anything and do anything and they'll be okay. And they don't think about how they feel. They don't think about any of that. And yet the older we get, you can almost tell somebody's age bracket by how many times in a conversation they're talking about their health. And it's just because it becomes this all-consuming thing when our health gets out of balance. And the older we get, the more out of balance it gets. But he discovered a way in early 2000 to turn back on that enzyme along with hundreds of others. And one thing that it turned back on was a protein called NRF2. And this NRF2 protein turns on SOD, turns on catalase, turns on glutathione, turns down inflammation, turns down an overactive immune system that may be attacking itself, gets everything starting to be more back in balance. It's kind of like a master piano tuner. And because he discovered that, it literally changed everything. It was on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. It was featured on the Today Show. ABC Primetime did a special on it. If you haven't seen that ABC Primetime, please check with the person that brought you to this video and have them send you that link. And if you're the person that they ask and you don't know where to find it, get a hold of me and I'll send you the link to send them. It's amazing. I'm not going to take time to show it to you tonight, but that's your homework. If you haven't seen that ABC Primetime, go learn about NRF2. Go learn about what it does in the body. What they figured out in a nutshell, not to be a spoiler alert here, but they found that when you take his NRF2 activators, it literally within days turns back on those genes and enzymes. And if you test your blood, even up to an 80-plus-year-old, you can't tell the difference. If they're on that NRF2 activator, you can't tell the difference between an 80-year-old and a newborn baby's blood. And that's incredible. If you could turn back the clock on every cell and get everything balanced and get everything functioning correctly again, that's incredible. So he came out with this NRF2 activator in the early 2000s. Today, 20 years later, he has genomics. It's 10 times stronger. My husband calls this the genome times 10. It's the genome project. 10 times stronger than what he came up with originally. So we have one of the most scientifically backed, incredible breakthroughs of our lifetime that we get to be a part of with this product, Genomics. The next product I want to talk to you about, I'm falling in love with, is almost as strong or even as strong, depending on who you are and how your body's needs are. Oh, hold on here. We're going to take a second for our technical difficulty. I just got a heavier board, but it comes with a little bit of a price. It's a little bit heavier on that stand. Okay, where were we? So the next product I want to talk to you about is called Link. And Link is like the missing link between your gut and your brain. So if you're studying and watching any of the health breakthroughs that are coming out more and more on the YouTube ads and different things that are, or maybe it's just me because I watch some of them and so I get more, but I see them all the time. Talking about the gut and the brain and how things are linked. So our link literally addresses both of those areas in an extremely powerful way. The link for the brain goes in and it restarts. It's epigenetic, just like genomics is. Epigenetic means it goes in and it triggers things. It does things. It's not just what we're intaking. We're not just intaking a food. We're taking a trigger. We're taking something that's going to affect our body. So Link actually stimulates the brain to balance hormones, to turn back on things like dopamine and serotonin, to be able to turn up the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That's a very effective part of what affects people with brain issues. So autism, ADD, ADHD, brain injuries, things where the brain has gone awry, we're able to start waking it up again, help the synapses to come back together, help memories that may have been broken apart to be able to come back together, create more synapses within the brain. For the rest of us that we don't quite know if there's anything wrong with our brain or not, try it. I bet you'll feel that brain fog lift. That's what I felt. It was just a more clarity, just more focus throughout the day. I love how I feel on this product, but it also helps the gut. So Link is made of butyric acid. And if you are having a slow night one night, go and Google the benefits of butyric acid. It's a fascinating read. That product, this short chain fatty acid, butyric acid, is an incredible, incredible molecule. Unfortunately, it smells and it tastes really bad. So it's not something that most people have been able to figure out how to market. But because of Al Zapp, one of the scientists that we have on our board, he figured out a way to wrap every single molecule in these little tiny beads and put them into a capsule that can time release inside of our body. So not only does he get pure butyric acid in, which I think we're the only company I've ever found that has pure butyric acid, that they haven't tried to cover the smell or the taste. You'll never smell it. It's covered unless you put it in hot food. That's just a little secret. Don't put it in hot food. Just swallow it and let it time release inside your body. You'll never know it, but you'll feel it. That butyric acid starts to heal the epigenetic, or the epithelial cells in our stomach lining, helps our immune system, helps heal leaky gut and things that are going wrong in the digestive system. So if you know people with stomach issues or digestive issues, this is going to make a huge difference in their life. And it's one thing that I've found that most people don't talk about. So I usually don't know when I'm giving somebody Link why they need it until I find out later that they're telling me that they're out of diapers, or they're, things have massively changed in their life, and all of a sudden they want to tell their story. It was not something they wanted to talk about before time, but after they get the benefits, when things change in 3 to 4 days, people's lives change, they want to talk about it. In our own family, we watched depression lift from one of our loved ones, literally in a matter of hours when he got on Link. It opened up that brain and helped the dopamine and the serotonin and everything to start flowing, and brought back his happy. So whatever Link is going to do for you, we know that it will bless your life and it will bless the loved ones in your life. The third one I want to talk about is Optimend. Optimend, if you notice the end is mend, literally goes in and lowers inflammation and pain naturally. So if you know people that are taking a lot of things over the counter or medicinally for pain, get them on Optimend. Let's start to help them. This is going to help with inflammation and pain. It's going to help with inflammation that you can feel maybe joints that are going bad as we get a little bit older, or we worked out too hard, or we were out in the yard and just overdid it. Anytime you feel that achy after, whether it's from a sports or whether it's from a workout or whether it's something that just pulled wrong, make sure that this is your first go-to. It's a lot healthier than anything you can find over the counter, and it's just as effective. It comes from turmeric, which most people know is a good plant for anti-inflammation. What you may not know is that turmeric is a very large molecule, so it's hard for your body to absorb it. And if it does, it breaks it down to curcumin. And curcumin, once it gets into the body, there's only a small percentage of it that can be utilized by the body, and they call that tetrahydrocurcumin. So because we have Alzap's patented process, we can do the same thing with those 4 molecules of tetrahydrocurcumin, and that's what they wrap and put into Optimend. So you're getting literally the strongest part of the turmeric plant in a high concentration, and you're not having to pay for the rest of the turmeric that's just going to normally go down the drain. So we literally have one of the strongest anti-inflammatories on the market. Those 3 together absolutely power pack for people's health. They start to get everything in balance and bring things back up and feed things the way that they're supposed to and really get the body functioning properly. And I have to tell you, in my later 40s, I feel better than I did in my later 20s. And that can't be said very often. Most people literally see their health decline. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time today, but if you have questions about these, you can find more information on activz.info. Our skincare line is one of the best skin treatments I've ever seen, has over 5 active ingredients, and some of the supporting ingredients are just as amazing, like hyaluronic acid that a lot of companies tout as their main ingredient is one of our supporting actors. So we have some incredible products that literally go in and help with acne, with fine lines and wrinkles, with pore size, with skin coloration, with collagen. You're gonna love them. And the last one that we have is called Arrow. Arrow has only been out for a few months, but we're literally watching people not only get energy, it's an energy drink. It's a powder that you can mix up and drink throughout the day. Drink it hot, drink it cold, however you like it. But it literally helps with a long sustained energy, with speeding up your metabolism, with helping to balance and control blood sugars, helps control cravings, helps speed metabolism up so you're burning fat longer throughout the day. Incredible product. Try it, you'll love it. Those products caught our attention because they were products that some of them seemed similar to other things that we'd looked at, but the science behind them was very peculiar, very special, very unique to the company. And we fell in love with it. We couldn't wait to try the different products. And now that we are on them, we love the results that we're seeing. So that one was a big check mark for us. We loved what they had. The next thing that we look briefly at is the trends, because if you don't satisfy the trends, you may as well move on. And right now the trends are health. People want to strengthen their immune system. They're trying to be able to get their bodies back in balance after this last year of crazy town. And they're looking for ways to make money. The most searched word on social media that I'm finding right now is side hustle. So we're going to show you how to do a side hustle, like I said, but it's not a traditional side hustle. This is not one where you can make an extra $200. Well, you might start with an extra $200, but we're going to show you how to grow that exponentially. So the main thing that we looked at is the compensation. And we've learned over the years that if you have all of these lined up and you can get all of them in the same place at the same time, opportunity is about who you know and when you know them, and then what you do with that knowledge. And we've learned that from talking to many, many millionaires over the years. When my husband was self-employed, he made a habit of taking them to lunch and finding out why they were so successful. And that seemed to be the common trend. It wasn't so much what they knew, because he knew doctors that had houses full of lavish things and left him keys to these mansions. And other people would have the big shell of a beautiful home, but no furniture inside. Same walk of life. Both were attorneys, or both worked for Intel, or both were doctors. And yet there was always a high and a low in each industry. And he wanted to know why the ones that were so successful were successful. And it usually came down to something that they said, that they had inherited a business from a family member. Maybe they'd taken over a position in a law firm, or they'd walked in and been assistant to a doctor who then retired and left all of their clientele to this new doctor. The other doctor had to start up on his own and try and scrape together a clientele, and it just wasn't as successful as the guy who inherited thousands of clients. So it came down to who they knew and when, not so much what they knew. They both got the same education. So what you're hearing tonight came down to someone who thought enough of you to put you on this Zoom. So you know the right person at the right time. There is going to be a point at which you're going to need to figure out what you want to do with it. No pressure. We're just going to give you some options. So we feel like everything has lined up with this company. That's why we jumped back into the industry. That's why we're here. Our goal is to help as many of you reach the top as we can. We want to create 1,000 millionaires, and we wanted to do that through whatever industry we could find. And this one looked like to be the best sure thought for us. We know how to build this type of an industry. We know how to build this type of a business. And if you'll just walk through the minefield with us, we know what to step around and what to step over and how to get there. If you'll just follow in our footsteps, if you'll just do what we're telling you to do, we can get you to a different level of success than you've had before. So that being said, I want to talk a little bit about the compensation plan. So this company has lots of different bonuses. There's fast money that pays one time. There's residual money that pays over and over and over and exponentially gets bigger and bigger and bigger from doing the work once. That's the definition of residual income. Most of us will never record a bestseller song or a best selling song, a #1 song. Most of us will never write a #1 selling book. Most of us will never appear in a movie. I'm not going to say all of us because I know there's a couple people watching that may have had one of those things in their life. But for the majority of us, we're never going to create a residual income stream through those methods. But through this type of a business, we can literally set you up to make residual income. So you do the work once and you get paid on it over and over and over. And the more you do, the bigger and bigger and bigger that check gets, until you reach a point at which you say, I'm happy with that. And maybe you step back a little bit and the check may continue to grow. If you've done your job right, it may continue to grow. Or you keep a little bit of involvement and you help to continue to help people and you make a difference in people's lives, and that check just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I bet at your job, they don't do that. I bet at your job, whatever work you did today, you'll get paid on one time and then it's forgotten. It's kind of like the one and done that we saw with the superfoods. One takes care of one and done. You do the work with your job, you get paid and done. Here, we want to teach you to have that stream, kind of like with genomics. You wake things up and it's 1,000,000 per second. We want to create an income that pays you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Because when you're going to sleep, somebody that's in your group that heard about it from somebody that you talked to, who talked to somebody, who talked to somebody, who knew somebody in Taiwan or Singapore, and all of a sudden they're waking up when you're going to sleep. And when it's our Christmas day, they have a different dateline and it's not for them. And they're back to work while you're opening presents or seeing family or doing good for the neighborhood. They're back to work because it's not that day for them. So having business around the world can literally earn you income 24/7. They have a car bonus. The car bonus pays between $500 and $1,000. So the bigger your group grows, the higher that check grows. Starts at 500, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. This is going to kick in when you do about $100,000 in volume. That sounds like a lot, but we're going to show you how to do it. If you'll just walk in our steps, we'll show you how to get there. There's a bonus that takes 10% of all of the volume done around the world every month and puts it into a kitty. And they take 1% and they give it to all of the A6s and above. And I know that doesn't mean anything to those of you that are just looking at this, but it's anybody who has $10,000 or more in their business. They're going to get to share that 1% of all the volume of the company. So right now, Mexico has the lion's share of the volume. Let's say we're doing $2 million. They're doing a little more than that because the 2 million from Mexico plus a little bit here and a little bit in Japan and Peru and Colombia and Bolivia and Dominican Republic, and there's little pockets growing now around the world, and some of them are getting to be pretty big pockets. But they're going to take 1% of all of that volume every single month, whether it came from you or not. That's the beauty of this kind of a profit sharing. You're literally benefiting from the people that are running really hard and fast in Peru, the leaders that have got a head start and are running really fast in Mexico. Did you know that in Mexico, there are people that have been in since 2017, so just a few short years, and they're already making $60,000, $70,000 a month? The equivalent of that here is hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. It's literally changed their lives in incredible ways. And that's what's coming here. So they take 1% and give it to the A7s and above, and then one to the A8s and above, and then one to the A9s and above. You see where this is going, right? So the higher you get, the more volume that's created through your organization, the more people in essence that you've helped, the more people whose lives you've changed with these incredible products, the more people that you've given a business opportunity to, makes you eligible for a higher percentage of the payout. They have another 1%, because this is 8% of it. They have another 1% that pays out to people that hit an A11 rank. That's $75,000 in 1 year. So 1 year from the time that they get in, if they're doing at least $75,000 in volume, they're eligible to share 1% with the other people who are out of the gate really fast. That comes in every single month. You talk about a Christmas bonus, this is a big one. And the bigger the company gets, that 1% is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. They have another 1%, so they use a total of 10%, 8 here, 1% there, 1% there. They take that other 1% and give it to everybody who reaches the top of the company. Right now, that's shared among 2 people. But right now, our volume is still fairly little. So 1% of $2 million is $20,000. So they each get an extra $10,000 on their check just because of that bonus. Then there's that one and this one and this one and this one and this one. I'm going to go through these in just a minute. It's incredible how much money the company is throwing at this. But I want you to understand, you don't have to be a rock star here. You just have to be a good follow the leader player and follow the person in front of you. And we can help you get to whatever level you want to be at. So we teach people to set up in business for $500. That gets you about $750 worth of product. Gives you enough to try of each of the different products so that you know what they are. Gives you product to share around with the different people around you so you can see the benefits. Because some people see things quickly, some people don't. And sometimes people will tell me, I want to try the products, and then if they work for me, I'll share them. Well, I heard a good analogy last week. If you opened a GNC, would you try every product in the GNC before you turned on your lights and opened the door? No. Would you only sell a product that made a big impact on you? No. You may not need the same product that the person that comes in looking for a CoQ10 or a protein powder needs. But you bring products into your GNC that are scientifically backed or backed enough that you feel comfortable having them in your store, that you know the manufacturers, they have good reputations, there's some good information on what the product does for this type of people. Well, it's no different here. You're in business for yourself. You don't have to love every product that we have. I personally do. I take and use every one of the products, but I'm maybe an anomaly. You don't have to. Maybe the link makes a huge difference for you. Maybe the arrow, you just, whatever. If it agrees with you and you love it, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. But understand that our products have a huge impact on different people's health. So you don't have to test everyone and try it out. That's already been done. The testing has been done extensively on these products before they ever came across Activz doorstep. They don't give them to us until they've thoroughly tested them. And a lot of those studies and tests are on PubMed.gov. So you can go and do the research, you can go and look at them, but you don't have to wait till you get your own experience. Because let's face it, you might be like me. I didn't see experience on a couple of the products for 2 months. You certainly don't want to wait to open your door on your business for 2 months. So buy the 500, share them around, and start to see the results in other people. You don't have to wait to see what it's going to do on you personally. So then we're going to break that up and we're going to do a $240 a month in overhead. And you can do that, or you can have some customers that help you do that. If that's too much for you, you don't have to do that. But we like that number because that gets you 2 sets of trifecta. So if you're married, you can be on a trifecta, your spouse can be on a trifecta, and you can both age gracefully together. We love that. Or if you're single, it's one of every single product. So we liked it. It was a round number. That's what my numbers and my math are based on. I'm not going to show you math on the other bonuses because they're percentage based and I can't. But this one I can do simple math on. So we're going to show you our system. Our system is around 4 people that you're going to bring into this business as business partners. Just 4. This isn't a business where you have to sign up everybody you know. This isn't a business where you have to turn into a big product pusher or a salesman. We just want you to bring in 4 business-minded people that are looking for a way to make some extra income that will help you share the message of this company. And then we're all our own best customer. If you take the products and use them, that's the best news. When those 4 people come in with the same package that you did, you're going to make around $500. It's a little bit, this one can kind of vary depending on how fast you bring people in and how things are done. And some of that, there's 100 of it that's product credit. You can make up to $480 in cash, plus the 100 in product credit is $580, so it can be a little bit higher. Anyway, there's a lot of bonuses I'm not going into, but it's roughly your money back on that. Your residual is about $100 a month. Nothing to write home about, but that's a $1,200 a year raise that might offset some property taxes or might offset the product purchases that you're making, however you want to look at it. The next step is we're going to help those 4 people bring in 16 people. And when they do, they're going to get the same thing that you got there. Your one-time bonuses come in at $570 and your residual is $250. So that's enough to pay for your product every month. So you've made back your initial investment. You've made enough to cover your expenses. And now your business is totally in the black and everything that you make from that point on is profit. When we started our landscape company, we spent tens of thousands of dollars getting it set up. We never did pay off that business loan. And our overhead almost on a daily basis was about that $250 to put gas in the equipment. It was just the cost of doing business. And we spent a lot of money on it for not a lot of return. We actually used a business like this and replaced our income that we were making from our landscape company and walked away from that 17 years ago. That was a really good day. The next step is to help these 16 bring on 4. When they do that, your one-time bonuses jump to over $4,000. That's enough to really start to make an impact. That's real serious money. That's enough to get off, maybe some debts paid off, get some things caught up, maybe take care of some things that have been neglected because we haven't had the income to do it. This $4,000, I think you'll be able to all think of some ways to use that. More importantly, though, is the residual. This is going to come in month after month, month after month, month after month for the rest of as long as people are taking these amazing products. That $1,500 is where it starts to really impact people's bottom line. That's probably as much as you would possibly make doing a traditional side hustle. But now you've started something that you can't stop, and it's just going to continue to grow because these 64 want to make a little bit of money too, and they're going to bring in their 4. You probably don't even know the people on this level. You might have been involved in helping these people or getting to know these people, but this starts to just get away from you. I'm finding more and more that there are more and more of you on these Zooms each night that I haven't met yet. And I'm so excited to be able to get to know you. But it's starting to just get to that point where it's just out of control. And you're going to see that too. You'll get to the point where you don't know the people. And yet the one-time bonuses that come in as those people sign up because the company knows that they didn't have to put it into advertising. They didn't have to pay it to the jobber and the wholesaler. They went straight to the consumer. They take all that money that would have been paid to the people between, and it pays out to people like you and I, because they know that these people would not have been found if these people hadn't been found. So it's literally dispersing the payment that would have gone to advertising, that would have gone to the different departments that would have been taken to run a traditional business, and then to all of the people in between, the wholesaler, the retailer, the jobber, all of those people don't exist here with this company. We deal directly with the company. So the one-time bonuses are $10,000. The residual jumps to $5,000 a month. For a lot of people, that'll replace an income. So if that $5,000 is attractive to you, let us show you how to get the ball rolling and get your 4 and help them get their 4 and start to build this, because the products, we know everybody that gets the products is going to be blessed by the products. We know that the timing's incredible. We know that if you'll do something with this, it's all about who you know and when, but it's also about what you do with it. Timing means absolutely nothing if you don't act on it. So follow in our lead. Let us show you how to do this. And I hope that you'll thank the person that brought you to this video. If we do our job right and those people go and get their 4, the next level of one-time bonuses jumps to a ridiculous number. The residual that comes in is enough that if this replaced just one of the people in the household, this level of 15,000 should replace both. If it doesn't, and you need to make more than that, just know that the next level when it fills in is around 55. The next level when it fills in is a 6-figure number. The next level when it figures and fills in is over $300,000 a month. If it takes you 10 years to fill this in down 8 levels, can you live on $300,000 a month? Okay, so on a serious note, I know that you can. Our goal, like I told you, is to find a good company, find good products, find good timing, find a company that can go the distance, which we have, and then help a lot of people, because we know that everybody on here needs to take care of things at home. You need to get your money in order. You need to get your health in order. And we know that once that's done, I don't know where your sweet spot is. I don't know if it's 5,000, it might be 1,500, might be 15,000. I don't know on those numbers I just showed you where your sweet spot is. But when you find your sweet spot and you get to that point where everything's taken care of at home, the debts are paid off, the bills are taken care of, the stress on the finances is gone. You're not having those late night discussions about money anymore. And I don't know if you are, but I know it happens in a lot of households. But when we get things taken care of at home, if we've done our job right, the people on the bottom till the next level. And we also have what's called a waterfall effect. So as you get more excited, and we've gotten more excited, we've already filled in our 4. We filled in our 4 a long time ago. And now we've spilled over, and we call it the waterfall effect, because our people just kind of fall down into the organization. And some people might just fall down into yours, and it's okay. If they do, then you throw one of your people into them, and it just creates this waterfall effect where everybody's helping everybody, and it's a really beautiful system. But we know that as that happens, now your check goes up, and all of a sudden you've got a money situation where you can make a difference in your community. And your community might be your church, might be your neighborhood, might be your family, might be your city, but it might give you money and resources to be able to support a cause, maybe help clean up a park, maybe help a family member that's in need. We've had some amazing, incredible experiences as we've been able to get our income to where we could see past ourselves. We were able to build a park for our neighborhood. We were able to help a family member with a surgery that was a life-saving surgery that he wouldn't have been able to afford. We've been able to do things, and most of the time it's anonymous. We much prefer the anonymous, but what will you do? What impact can you have? I'm not in your neighborhood. I don't know your family. So they're depending on you to be able to be that light, to be that hope in their life. So this is a resource that you can use to be that in your family, but you've got to get this done first, and then we take it to this level. And then as things grow and that 8th level fills in, or even the 6th level, do you know when you hit that 6th level, they show up at your house? The doorbell will ring, and you open the door and they have one of those gigantic checks that says pay to the order of your name in the amount of $100,000. That happens on level 6. Could you use an extra $100,000? How could that help your family? So there's a lot of fun things along the way. They also do trips and promotions and all sorts of other fun things. Their ninth bonus is actually called promotions and incentives, which leaves the door pretty much wide open. They can throw in extra money whenever they feel the desire. It's very fun. But we know that as that 8th level fills in, and probably even the 7th level, that you can't spend it. It's more money than the average human would know what to do with. But it's just because you've blessed and helped so many lives. So it's all good. We know that good people will do good things with it. And now you can start to have an impact on the world. Our goals at this level involve putting wells of water in, helping free people from slavery and human trafficking and things that are horrible that are going on. We want to make a difference. We want to be able to take our family again and go build homes in third world countries. There's things that we've done in the past, but we've only just scratched the surface on the good that we want to do. So if you have a desire to make a difference on a big level, the world needs it more than ever now. They need hope more than ever now. Your community needs you, your world needs you, but we have to start here. So let's get your things taken care of at home. Let's get your health in balance. Let's start to get you some money coming in and get the finances out of the way. Give you some control of your time back so that you aren't trading hours for dollars, but you have choices of time, and now you can start to be serving and doing good in the world around us. So it's a little bit bigger than just a product. It's a little bit bigger than just a side hustle. I hopefully have given you some things to think about tonight. If you have questions, please get back with the person that sent you to this Zoom. We want to be able to answer them. It's the last day of the month. I'm here to help you and serve you, and I'm on the Pacific coast, so it's still early for me. You can call me as late as you want tonight, and I will be here to help. So if you've got questions from your people that you can't answer, please look me up. I'm happy to help. In fact, I'll even stay on for a few minutes tonight. I'm going to go ahead and end our recording, and we will wrap this up. And if you need to jump off, we understand. Thank you for being with us. And if you are ready to call it a night, that's great. And if there's things that you want to ask,